Hello everybody, this is Curtis from psnstores.com. Today we're looking at Tachyon Project. This is from Eclipse Games. They actually also recently put out Super Toy Cars, which we covered in another gameplay glimpse about 2 weeks ago, I think. If you haven't checked that out, you should do so. It's a pretty interesting racing game. It's got some issues, but it's kind of cool. Now this game is a twin stick shooter. We're just gonna jump into a level here. I've played the first 3. There are 10 levels in the campaign. So we'll play the second one. So there's a story going on here. You're playing as Ada. Ada is like a hacking program. And basically something has happened to its creators. And Ada is unsure of what's going on. So it's kind of trying to figure out what is happening by going through and hacking other areas. Like this is a police station that we're hacking right here. We can jump into a config ship kind of option here, so you can kind of choose what kind of firepower you want. Right now I've only got standard and a machine gun unlocked. You can also choose like your secondary, so you have a explosion, proximity mine, freezing bomb, slow down time, shield, etc. I found that this configuration menu right here can be kind of finicky. But then you choose perks and different things like that. So we'll stick to what I have. And then we'll just jump in. So each level has different nodes you see in the top left corner. That is kind of your progression through the level. Every node represents a challenge. So you saw there, and there's 10 types of enemies I need to kill. Specifically these kind of spirals here. Vortices, as they're called. And then it shows you right there with the objective, kind of how far along you are in that specific node for the level. I really like the UI for this. I mean, again, so what you're seeing here should not look. You should recognize this. This should probably look pretty familiar. There's certainly been other games that have had this kind of style to it. But specifically, I do like the UI they're going for. Like, specifically, it's where they're showing the objective and how far along you are in that. The different nodes to show you your progression through the stage. I think that stuff is pretty well done. You're also noticing we're on a timer here, and so the timer is going to keep ticking down, but you are going to gain about 2 seconds, I think, with every enemy that you kill. Then, of course, you get your score, your multiplier. The bottom middle is going to show your secondary weapons, as they have a cooldown meter when you use them. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's not like this should be pretty self-explanatory what's going on here. If you played a twin stick shooter, you kind of know what you're getting into. But that said, the story, there are like cutscenes that have some just animated, or not animated, it's just kind of slides of art showing different people talking about things that are hacking, that are happening as they're hacking different things, and that's fine. It's fine. I've seen like 2 cutscenes so far, so. But there is a challenge mode that we'll check out after this stage is over. That has some pretty interesting stuff going on. I mean, the actual level 3 in the story was pretty interesting because it introduced a stealth mechanic. And so you'd probably be thinking, stealth in a twin stick shooter or like especially something like this, seems maybe a little weird. Like, how would that work? So basically, I mean, you'll see it. We'll actually check out one of the stealth challenges. Because it actually is pretty interesting. Like, I feel like it's something that I haven't really seen in a game like this before. So it adds something maybe a little bit new to what you're used to. And I think it actually works pretty well. Actually, a lot of the challenge stages have kind of interesting mechanics that, again, you don't necessarily see very often. Specifically the stealth challenge, and then there's one called claustrophobia, which basically puts 4 mines in the corner of the level. And the radius of the explosion of each mine is continuously growing. And the only way to prevent it from growing is to kill enemies to kind of shrink it back down. So you're fighting enemies while also trying to stay away from the blast radius of each mine. And that's pretty interesting too. Alright. We're almost done with this level. So yeah, so these levels in the story mode, you're gonna have kind of what we've seen so far, where it's like killed this many of this type of enemy. You're also gonna have objectives where you need to survive for a certain amount of time. Those two have been essentially the two types of objectives I've seen so far. I'm not sure if there might be other things that are new. I think there's one that kind of coincides with like the stealth mechanic. But this is typically what you're going to be expecting here. But yeah, you know, even though visually this isn't too radically different from other games of this genre, I mean, Geometry Wars is probably the easy comparison to make. I do think even still, it does look nice though. I think it's got some good particle effects going on. But if nothing else, I feel like that probably counts for something. Got some pretty good music too. Ooh. Oh, I ran out of time there. So it wasn't even my death that stopped me. Okay. Well, anyways, so that's kind of what you can expect from a typical level in the story mode. We back out here very briefly and look at challenges. So you have your typical endless challenge. You've got stealth, limited time, claustrophobia, extreme stealth, secondary weapons only one hit, laser loadout, shotgun loadout, bombs. So yeah, it's a pretty good variety of different challenges. But we'll go to stealth, so you can kind of see what that looks like. So endless waves. So what happens here is you have the kind of the last known spot that you were seeing. So everybody's gonna converge there. Now obviously the time is running out, so we're gonna wanna actually do something here so we can get more time on the clock. But what happens is if we start shooting, then we're immediately spotted. Now this type of enemy, they're just gonna kind of flow around, whatever. But there are enemies like this that are gonna be looking for you. You kind of see that they're trying to detect you. So there's a handful of different enemies like that. And again, you can kind of just stop shooting and kind of fly around and let enemies kind of converge here. Here's a good one. And you also have radar, those radar enemies over there, so if you get too close, they will spot you no matter what. Yep. And then they just home in on you. They're constantly looking for you. When they find you, they home in. So anyways, I think that's kind of an interesting kind of spin on this genre of games. Again, I've played a good bit of Geometry Wars, at least. That's my closest comparison here, at least visually. But I feel like I haven't really seen something like that in this kind of game. Especially this very, specific kind of twin-stick shooter. So I thought it was interesting. It's kind of different, so that was kind of appreciated. If we hop into extras, we can look at the cutscenes, so you can kind of see what those look like, too. Like I said, I've seen 2 of them so far. It looks like there's 6 of them. We just start up the first one. Here's basically the intro to the story. From what I've seen, this code is about as close as you're gonna get to any kind of animation in these cutscenes. The rest are just kind of still images. And I mean, it's nice art. But, obviously, I think it's understandable that if you go into a twin-stick shooter, maybe you're not too concerned with the story. If that's the case, you can just skip the cutscenes, but if nothing else, there is a story here. I can't comment too much on the quality of it. Again, I'm very early. I've finished 3 levels of 10, so I haven't really seen much of the story so far, but interesting nonetheless. And this is all, like, revolving around, like, a hacking group and whatnot. So, that is, that's gonna do it. That is Tachyon Project. Again, it is out now. It is, $10. And it's on, PS4. So, that is, that's what the game is. If you were curious, if you didn't know, if you hadn't heard about it, like me, I had not heard about this game until about a week before it came out. So, that's a brief look at Tachyon Project. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you later. If you like this or any of our other YouTube videos, subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to support what we do in general, be sure to hop on over to patreon.com/psnstores. Your patronage helps keep our podcast 100% ad-free. Thanks for watching.